Mate, I have a question. I just wanted to know what your thoughts were around employing non-Christian people within your business, and also how does that look in management roles or in a leadership role within our businesses?
Yeah, great. It's a really good question. So I don't subscribe to the theory that we should only be employing Christians. I think that just hives us off into our own little bubble too much. As Christians, we tend to do that too much anyway, right? We don't usually have too many friends that are of the world. So I think that's dangerous if we're only in a Christian bubble. So I think we should be employing the best person for the job, Christian or non-Christian. I also feel like, how are they likely to get a revelation of the kingdom of God if they never meet a believer, right? So, there is something to be said for that. Now, we're not running a mission here. We're trying to run a business. Effectively, they could be the same thing, but we're not trying to run a not-for-profit to do this. So it needs to be somebody that can do the job. Here's what I would say.
Yeah.
I would never give an unsaved person keys to the kingdom. So I would want to test their character over a long period of time before I ever let them get too close. Only because, and of course, we all know stories of Christians who have let people down. I've had Christians at work for me, ripped me off, stole from me, done the wrong thing, defamed, gossip, broke every deadly sin you could imagine, right? And that's fine.
Sometimes can be the most stubbornest.
That's right. So, but I guess my criteria for non-Christians is I want to keep them on a slightly shorter leash. And I don't mean to try and control them. I just want to monitor them, okay? Because, and some of them have an amazing heart. And they may not acknowledge God, but they've got a massive heart for people and, and products and service. And they might have a massive heart for you and your vision. And so they're the people we want to find. I just think that, your question was, what about management roles? If you're immediately putting somebody in a management role, you're already letting them get quite close. So I would just be wanting to hang out with them a little bit more often, check in with them a little bit more often, have those awkward conversations a little bit more often, because I would want to test their character before I ever let them, ascend through the ranks. So I just think there's wisdom in slowing that down. And if they're starting at the bottom of the company, that's really easy because by default they're at the bottom of the company and they have to earn their way up over time. If they're coming in as managers, you want to sit them under your wing probably a little bit more than you would otherwise, just because you just want to see that they are for you and their heart is for you and their heart is for people and their heart is to over-service clients. You want to see that. And by the way, you can get that in unsaved people for sure. You just want to make sure you've seen that over a period of time, because anybody can fake it for 3 months, right? Everybody's amazing for 3 months.
I think also too, you can see a person's character when things are tough or when they get things wrong or when you get things wrong. That really draws out their character.
For sure. When they start blaming,
because we can all be
nice
nicer when things are going good.
Yeah. So when something goes wrong and they start blaming everybody, that's when you get to have that really hard conversation of going, well, hang on a minute. So, is it always going to be everybody else's fault or is it going to be yours? And if they throw their hands up in the air and storm out, well, that tells you their character. And again, you could have that. You could have that outcome with believers or non-believers. That's not the criteria. I guess what we're saying here is we're checking. I would just hope that a believer has got a soft heart towards God, which means they should have a soft heart towards you, and they want to do 9 hours work in an 8-hour day, and they want to go the extra mile. I would hope that's what believers are like. I would just want to see it practically from non-believers as well. Did you know that this show goes onto Facebook, it goes onto YouTube, it goes onto Instagram, it goes onto iTunes, and it goes onto LinkedIn? Do me a favor, would you? Tell more people about the show so that I can spread the message. Love ya. See ya.